Above the start cleaning those tires up. Great this time. Remember they fan out down there. So check that bottom. Sunday drive. 5 off lap. Hey, cars off. Be ready. Be ready. Gas that bitch up. Ready. Green flag.
Welcome, everybody, to the Inside Pass, another week of racing talk. We've got a lot of stuff to cover, so we're just going to jump right in with both feet in, I was going to say in flooded Coda waters, but it was a couple weeks ago. So we're going to go to the hotline and talk to one of the hottest drivers on the Truck Series circuit right now. He's tearing up the track in the Truck Series, much like Kyle Larson is doing in the Cup Series. But fresh off of a win at Texas Motor Speedway this past Friday night, driver of the number 4 Toyota Tundra for Kyle Busch Motorsports, John Hunter Nemechek is on the hotline. Good evening, sir, and thank you for taking some time out to join us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, as I mentioned at the top of the show, you're 4 wins into the season so far, fresh off a win Friday night at Texas Motor Speedway. Your team got to be riding a high right now as we head into the summer months and getting ready to get ready for that run to the championship here pretty soon.
Yeah, we definitely are. It's been a good year so far. Having 4 wins so far is definitely a big accomplishment. I still feel like we let 1 or 2 get away. But in the end, as a driver, you always want more. You always want to win more. So for myself, we're riding the high, but at the same time, we're not letting ourselves get ahead of ourselves, and we're still working hard every single day. Had celebrated yesterday, and then back to work today. So it's all head down, continuing to work, and trying to go get more wins for the rest of the year and lock up that championship.
Something that's really exciting to me that came out last week is really all of that hard work that you've put in paying off with the announcement of you running 3 races for Joe Gibbs starting at Bristol. What does that mean to you to, run some races for that organization and see all of that work come together?
Yeah, it's really neat. Being able to kind of take a bet on myself from last year being in the Cup Series to going back to the Truck Series and now having an opportunity to run some races in the Xfinity Series with Joe Gibbs Racing and Toyota and everyone else involved. It means a lot to me. I think the biggest thing for me is I'm excited to go try and win some more races. It's another great opportunity to go and try and bring home the checkered flag and trophy.
John Hunter, your next appearance in the Truck Series will be at Nashville, a track the Trucks haven't visited in 10 years. What's your preparation been like for going to a all-new racetrack for yourself, and what do you think key will be to winning at Nashville?
Yeah, I've been able to lean on my boss quite a bit that's won there in the past, or won one of the last truck races that he was at there. So for me, I'm excited about Nashville. I feel like it's another kind of like a mile and a half for us. Our KBM team has been really, really good on mile and a half this year. I think we have all 5 wins or 6 wins on mile and a half so far. Kyle has won 2, and then I think I've won 3 on mile and a half. So pretty neat for the organization and company. They're definitely one of our strong suits right now, and it's been a lot of preparation, a lot of studying, a lot of asking questions, trying to soak up all the information I can. And trying to prepare the best that I can. So hopefully I'll be on my A game when we show up Friday for practice and qualifying and race. And hopefully we can go win everything.
Well, John Hunter, you've been on a roll on the track, but you've also had a big win off the track. New dad this year. Talk about how all that's going for you.
Yeah, it's been good. Being able to become a dad this year has been really, really neat. Taylor and I welcoming Aspen into the world. Kind of watching her grow up every single day. Something is new every single day, and it's really fun. Puts a lot of different things into perspective for myself. And,
sure.
It's helped me grow as a person and as a race car driver and everything else in a whole. When you're having a bad day and you come home and she's smiling at you, it makes you forget everything that's happened, and you're just focused on that. So it's definitely been a blast, and she's already been to Victory Lane once, which is cool. So hopefully we can continue to do that for her.
So your go-kart fund, have you started that account yet for the future go-kart that will be in your future?
Not yet.
you know it's coming. It's kind of a destined thing. You know, most racing kids want to grow up, and they grow up in the sport. They want to become racers. So, you know, keep that in the back of your mind. I'm sure your boss will be able to give you some tips. Maybe she can get to one of Brechton's hand-me-down go-karts somewhere down the road. Yeah. So speaking of Kyle, going back to what we were talking about earlier, you know, 4 wins into the season, you've kind of been on you know, like a different kind of course with your career. I mean, you started out in the Truck Series, you know, made it all the way up into the Cup Series. Kind of an unfortunate situation with Matt Tiff, but you were able to step into that car and kind of do some stuff in the Cup Series, and it kind of wasn't the opportunity that you desired, I'm sure, to be in that role. But getting the opportunity to kind of take a step back, go back to the Truck Series, and show that you really have what it takes to succeed at a higher level. What's that been like? Just kind of going through the last 18 months of 2 years of your career, of going all the way up there and then coming back down, but still showing the dominance that you've been showing this year in the Truck Series.
Yeah, well, until Vegas this year, I hadn't won in over 2 years, I think. So for me, it was a lot. It was kind of a struggle for myself. And pushing myself to continue to work hard. I feel like when you're with an opportunity like I had last year at Front Row, I don't regret anything from it. I'm glad that I had that opportunity. I'm thankful I had that opportunity from Front Row and Bob Jenkins and all parties involved, and it taught me a lot. I gained some very valuable experience, I think, that has helped me this year for sure. It helped me build a notebook and helped me become a better race car driver in a whole. Just thankful. And then coming into this year, kind of taking a bet on myself, wanting to win races and using our hashtag here for wins. We've been using that since the announcement, and the first 2 races, we had a really fast truck, won stages, and ran up front pretty much the whole time, but couldn't close it out. And then finally, a 3rd race of the year, going out and getting a win and beating Kyle. I feel like for myself, it was definite validation that I had made the right move and that this is what I wanted to come and do. So I'm smiling, I'm having fun. I'm not really stressed about it. Just having fun, enjoying life. And when you're able to do that, it means a lot more. If you're not having fun doing something, then it's not worth doing, in my opinion. So I'm just thankful for the opportunity from Toyota and Kyle and all of our great partners that helped put this whole deal together. And hopefully we can go win a lot more this year.
John Hunter, we all know how close you are with Kyle, but are you close at all? Do you have any relationship with Denny Hamlin? Could we see you in a 2311 car potentially in the coming years?
Who knows? I'm focused on my deal right now, and that's to go win as many races as I can for Kyle and his organization, and for myself, and trying to go win this championship. I mean, obviously, I think that the ultimate goal is to get back to the Cup Series one day, but it has to be in competitive equipment, and I want to win races. I want to win championships. So however long that takes or whatever the path may be, I'm here for the ride.
I want to talk about, your weekend prep. Obviously, you don't have to give away all of the big secrets that make you do what you do on a winning weekend. But with no practice and qualifying with a lot of these races, what do you rely on throughout the week, especially with some of these tracks that you haven't been to? What do you rely on to sort of prep for your weekend?
I would say I rely on Kyle quite a bit. Rely on myself, going back to previous notes. A lot of studying. A lot of film work, just anything and everything that I can do to study and help prepare myself for whatever racetrack we're going to. I like to know more than not enough. I would rather know too much than too little. So for me, it's all pushing as hard as I can and working as hard as I can to maximize the opportunity that's in front of me.
It seems like, John Hunter, that, as you say, you seem so relaxed this year. And a lot of times I feel like when drivers are kind of I think I heard somebody last weekend use the phrase wound tight. Things just don't seem to go as well. In the situation that you're in this year, I mean, does one kind of feed the other? I mean, you're relaxed, so you're winning races, but you're winning races, so you're relaxed. And then, of course, I'm sure you're losing some sleep at night as a dad, but at this point still. But, it just feels like you have everything together this year, and it just seems like it's all going in a great direction.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like, all in all, it's been a great year. I feel like for me, being relaxed rather than wound tight is way better for me in a sense. Stress can take a toll on you. It can take a mental toll on you, everything else. And I definitely think I learned a lot from last year and some of the things that we did and some of the things that I felt like I went through as a person. And I think that made me grow as a person, both as a driver and as a person off the racetrack. So I think I've learned a lot of valuable lessons with that. But when things go your way, it's definitely nice. I wouldn't say when things go your way, it's relaxing. I think that's just the mentality and attitude that I have going into it. What's going to happen is going to happen. There's times where I still get frustrated and whatnot, but at the same time, kind of like I was saying earlier, you just got to keep your head down and keep working at it.
Well, John, I can probably speak for all of us in the studio when I say you probably should start making some room on your wall for that Gibson guitar this weekend in Nashville, because I'm pretty sure you're going to have to put one on your wall when you get back to your house on Monday morning. But best of luck with everything the rest of the season, the rest of, Nashville coming up this weekend. You guys are on a high right now, and I can see you probably at least doubling the amount of wins you already have this season, and I think you're going to be a force to reckon with in the championship.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I appreciate it, and thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely.
No problem at all. John Hunter Nemechek, everybody, and so set sail and hop on the next flight to Nashville and get ready for this weekend. But good talking to him. He's one of those drivers that it's good to see. Somebody whose pendulum has swung both ways. Over the last several years, having to
took you a while to get that together.
Well, I was trying to figure out how to say it without sounding weird. But anyway, you got to understand what I was trying to say. Anyway.
Yeah, we got
so anyway, we're going to take a break. We'll come back on this. I'm going to reset my brain, and we'll come back with more Inside Pass right after this. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Do you love the sound of high-revving motors and the smell of burning rubber? Do you want to get your car sideways right at the ragged edge of control? If you've always wanted to try drifting or learn to improve your drifting skills, Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier motorsports facility, has the expert instructors and the specialized track to teach you how to drift and the skills necessary to drift competitively. From skid pad to open sessions, Summit Point Motorsports Park has the safe and open environment that allows drifters of all skill levels, new to intermediate, to get sideways and smoking. With a focus on safety and the skill set necessary to drift competitively, Summit Point Motorsports Park's Drift Nirvana is just the thing for you. Call for your reservation today, 304-725-8444. Or for more information, go online, summitpoint-raceway.com, or you can email them at office@bsrinc.com. Drift Nirvana, getting you sideways the right way.
Victory Custom Trailers is the place to go for your next new or used trailer or coach. Being personally involved in the racing community allows Victory to fully understand what racers need in a trailer. They have over 200 coaches and trailers in stock for a variety of industries, and they can serve anyone in the continental U.S. If you're looking for something custom, they can assist in designing a trailer that fit your needs. Check out their entire inventory online at victorycustomtrailers.com.
I'm Andrew Saul, Commissioner of Social Security. Beware of telephone scammers pretending to be government employees. Real Social Security employees will never threaten you. Callers threatening you with arrest or other legal action and demanding money are not from us. If you receive a call like this, hang up, do not provide them with any form of payment or information. Report the call at oig.ssa.gov.
Why awesome game. What's up with your car? I don't know. It won't start. How are we getting home? Chill. My parents signed me up for the roadside assistance from Lewis Meineke. It was free with my oil change. They'd come and get the car started or get us home and tow the car to the shop.
Good to know. With my driving, my parents never know what to expect.
When you join the Meineke Car Care Club with a $35 preferred service, you get 4 free months of roadside assistance, including tire change, battery jump, lockout service, towing, and more. Contact Lewis Meineke, located on Route 1, or call 827-2054.
When do you think of a plumber? Like most people, even if it's an emergency, you can be confident about who will arrive to help you. For quality and reliability, count on someone you can trust. Call on the plumbing services of Hague Quality Water of Maryland. Plumbing doesn't have to be an emergency. We handle all kinds of preventative maintenance too. Hague Quality Water of Maryland is family-owned here in Annapolis since 1993. For a refreshing choice, call us at 888-84-WATER or visit us online.
Hello, race fans. This is Chris Wright. Thanks for listening to these guys. Some great radio hosts. You're listening to the SI Pass.
We are great radio hosts who just had the winning Truck Series driver from the last race on our show. So that's always exciting stuff.
It's a bell.
Easy there, Randy. I wouldn't call us great. We're all right.
Mediocre.
We do enough. We do enough.
Well, Chris thinks we're great. That's all that matters.
Do I?
As long as Chris Rice says we're great.
Oh, well,
that's
you
all
know.
The other Chris.
It's a great compliment.
The more important Chris, really.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
that was like the highlight of our show so far is having John Hunter Nemechek on. Now Kyle Larson's won everything, so we don't have to do a show anymore. We're done.
Kyle Larson.
There's nothing else left to talk about.
We're done.
So every week before we do the show, I always do like a run sheet just so that we're all on the same page about what we're talking about. So usually, like I try to make fun headlines, but when it comes to Kyle Larson, it's like, what are you really going to say? So I put Kyle Larson versus the world because that's pretty much what
it was funny to me because
right
I was
exactly.
I was listening to his post race press conference right before the show, and somebody had asked him, if his other teammates were mad that he was winning so much, and his response I think is a good one. Well, he said, "Well, if I'm finishing first." If you look at the most recent results, a Hendrick car has been finishing behind me, so everybody's sort of winning right now. And he said that's how everybody feels in the shop, is that if all the Hendrick cars are finishing in the top 5 and top 10 every week, then everybody's winning.
You're winning as a team.
Well,
so.
but
that's coming from him, who's winning every week.
Exactly.
Then there's the Chase Elliott remark when his crew chief asked him what in the middle of I don't know if it was Texas or maybe the race before, but in the middle of the race,
it was at the 600.
Was it the 600? What do you need me to change? And he put a blanking 5 on it. And it seems like he's like,
true. It's funny.
But yeah, I mean, and you know what, guys, that to me, Peter, teammates. When you're working as one whole group instead of 4 individual groups, it's amazing the power in that.
It really is. And, yeah, Hendrick was strong towards the end of the last season. They won the championship, obviously, with Chase Elliott. But the one move they've made over the offseason that cannot go underrated is taking Chad Canals from crew chiefing 1 car to more or less crew chiefing all 4 cars as the competition director. Canals' career speaks for itself. He's a 7-time championship-winning crew chief, countless wins, by far first ballot Hall of Famer, and now he's basically pulling the shots for all 4 cars. He's the puppet master for every car coming out of the Hendrick stable, so of course it'll all be amazing.
So now instead of having 1 Chad Canals, you have 4 Chad Canals. 5 if you count the actual Chad Canals. But it's funny because Cliff Daniels was on SiriusXM earlier, and then they asked him about when Kyle made that move toward the end where he was 3 wide, and he went up, on the other side of the PJ1 where you're not supposed to go because it's been treacherous territory all weekend, and made that pass. And that he's like, "What did you say to him?" He's like, when he came down pit road or whatever to get in victory lane, he's like, I looked at him and I said, "Don't ever do that again because you scared the crap out of me. You were not going to make that stick." And he's like, "But that shows you the kind of driver that Kyle is. He's willing to take chances like that."
I also want to talk about the flip side of this issue too. On one hand, Hendrick is blowing people out of the water. On the other, what does Stuart Haas Racing have to do to get back in the game? they're just not there.
Put a 5 on the side of their car.
Yeah. switch to Chevy.
Switch to Chevrolet.
Switch to Chevy.
I mean, it's funny because I was thinking about that on the way here. You know, last year all we talked about was Denny Hamlin and Kevin Harvick. Hamlin, Kevin Harvick. You know, and even in the Xfinity series, it was, you know, Chase Briscoe and, you know, and the guys like that were winning every single week. And now it's like none of those guys are even existent, you know, for the most part. I mean, Denny started out the season when we thought he was going to be on a house of fire, but I mean, now you look at Kyle Larson's statistics in the last 6 weeks, he's got an average finish of 1.5.
And I think if I heard the stat right, he's won not just in NASCAR, but across all motorsports disciplines that he's raced in. He's won 8 of his last 10 races.
Yeah, if he shows up to the track, it's over.
Well,
go home.
And see, that's... To me, that's the difference. Now, look, Kyle Larson won in almost everything he raced last year, too. But to me, this is the difference in Kyle Larson 2 years ago versus Kyle Larson this year. He got humbled last year, and he went away, and he did his dirt thing, and he kind of put himself together. He matured, and this year he comes back as a driver who understands what he lost and how easy it is for it to go away. And you're driving for a man that you don't want to disappoint. and he caught the Hendrick team when they were right about to go on the upswing again, you know, really be strong. So, like, it's the perfect storm for him to have this big season. And what's scary is if you look at that organization as a whole, they could be just this good for the next 10 or 15 years with the age of the drivers. Now, obviously, the new car will play into that some, but...
And it's so cool to see all 4 cars firing off on all cylinders.
Amazing, really.
You never really see that. I mean, from one organization, you'll see, like, your Jimmy Johnsons from past years. You'll see your... You know, the Kyle Bushes who have a good year, the Kevin Harvick, you know, but to see all 4 cars have, you know, I think Chase is the only one without multiple wins so far.
Byron has the one win.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think Williams don't.
Williams has
won
2
twice.
No, just at Homestead.
No.
Byron has the 1 win, and Chase has the 1 win at Coda.
I thought William had won twice. Look that up.
Bowman has 2.
Bowman has 2.
I think William got 2, but okay, maybe you're right, Peter.
Yeah.
We'll see. He'll double check. Peter's a stat guy.
But
he's sitting in the stat seat.
But to see all 4 cars, you know, have the team has multiple wins, and I saw somebody say, you know, Martin Truex Jr. is the most dominant driver. Well, not anymore.
I was going to say he was
for a couple weeks, you know, and then 2 weeks ago, Kyle Larson said, "Hey, I'm still here."
But this is the amazing thing, Randy, is that okay? It isn't that Gibbs isn't great. You know, Hamlin's done very well. Truex has done very well. Kyle Busch actually has run very well. He hasn't had the best results to show for it. Chris Bell's had a lot of bad luck. But it isn't that, for example, Gibbs isn't great. It's just this is how good Hendrick is now.
They're an echelon above everybody else.
Yes, it's just one of those years.
It's funny, though, that Kyle is one. So people that don't know Kyle Larson, Kyle's not the kind of guy that goes into the shop and works on the cars. He shows up, he gets in the car, he drives it, he goes home. Like that's Kyle Larson. He's like that with it on his sprint car team. He's like that on the late model. Anything he drives, he shows up, he gets in the car, he drives, he goes home. So for him to be able to tell the team what he wants inside that race car during a race, and then be able to give him what he wants during the race to make him dominant, you know, either toward the middle of the race, toward the end of the race, whatever, just shows you that he's smart in terms of, I don't have to work on cars. I just have to show up and race.
Right. Okay, Peter, so what's the final verdict here? How many wins does William Byron have?
Only the 1 so far at Homestead, although he did have that streak of 11 straight top 10, so he had a couple get away from him.
Okay, so I'll give you a bell, and I'll give me a buzzer. There. Now we're even.
I mean, when you're talking about Hendrick, does it really? I mean, at this point, does it really matter who's in victory lane?
He got a second win.
He was close the other night in the All-Star race.
They all led laps in the All-Star race. So
yeah, and that was at one point. Wasn't it like there were 3 out of 4, like top 3?
At one point,
they had
all the top 4.
Oh, did they all?
Yeah, for a little bit, they were in the
like,
top 4.
What? Only like the second or third NASCAR team in Cup history to have a 1, 2, 3, 4 finish.
That's right.
I think second there, and they tied the record for consecutive 1-2s as well, and that record stood since 1956.
Well, that record's going to get shattered, I'm pretty sure.
So you know, it's just it's one of those years that and again, like I said, the fact that they're all working as one group is to me what the difference is really in that organization. It's pretty pretty amazing to watch.
So here's an interesting, kind of take on the situation. I know some lower series of some of the weekly series, when a driver wins multiple races, whether it be 2 or 3 or 4, they have sponsors or track people that come together and put a bounty on this person's head. They do it a lot in dirt races too. So I guess with Kyle Larson being as dominant as he's been, winning the last 3 races, even though the All-Star race wasn't points captured, but the last 3 races, and Hendrick Motorsports winning the last 4 or 5. Do you think that there should be a bounty put on Kyle Larson's head? And I guess by the same token, Ty Gibbs in the ARCA series, because he's won the last 3 ARCA series.
I think, in my opinion, if you're going to put a bounty on somebody, because they did a bounty on Kyle Busch a couple years ago, right, in the truck series, because he was undefeated.
Yeah.
Didn't the drivers do that, though?
Yeah, that all started from Larson tweeting.
Yes.
But if I'm putting a bounty on somebody, I would let... If Kyle Larson goes out and dominates Nashville, then I would look at somebody putting a bounty on Larson.
The thing that was cool about that is once it started, it snowballed, because didn't we get a sponsor too?
Lamona's put his money on
Marcus, it got up there pretty good, and then I think they ended up giving it to charity or something, didn't they?
Well, Chase beat, and then he gave it, he gave it to charity.
As I'm saying, I think, So those are cool little things that you can do, and it just makes it a little more fun. It gives you so I don't know. I think the bounty thing is cool, and I think it's one of those. There are tracks that will do that, and then they'll start it at, say, 500 or 1,000, whatever they're going to have, and every week that nobody claims it goes up $100. Yeah, it goes up a little bit, and that's kind of half the fun. Is how high would it get? Right now the way Kyle Larson's going, it may be pretty high.
Pretty sure Chase Elliott's going to be the one starting that fun.
But Ty Gibbs, again, in ARCA has been dominant for a couple of years. So, and this year it's just extra crazy because the Venturini team, for the most part, has been way off this year compared to usual. They're still really good, but what's been neat to watch is some of Rev Racing's guys. Nick Sanchez, Roger Caruth, some of those drivers that have had some good runs. But it's all Ty and ARCA, and it's definitely right now it's Kyle Larson's Cup world, and everybody else is just living in it. But that eventually that's going to tail off at least a little bit, because some of these other guys are this close. They just got to get all the way to the top.
They just have to become Hendrick drivers. So
put a 5 on the car.
Put a 5 on the car, or put Larson on the car. So we're coming up on a break, but when we come back from break, I want to talk about SRX, their debut race at Stafford on Saturday night. I thought it was pretty good, but we'll talk about what you guys thought of it. Over in the IndyCar world, where we have Kyle Larson dominating in NASCAR, we got everybody dominating in the IndyCar world.
Yeah.
Everybody's won different races in the IndyCar world, which I think is cool and fascinating. We'll talk about that as well. An interesting take on trophies. I want to see what you guys think about what you think is the coolest trophy in the motorsports. We'll talk about that. We'll come back more Inside Pass right after this. Stick with us. We'll be back in a second.
How to be a great dad in 15 seconds. Bike ride, go fish, walk in the park, phone call, milkshake, play catch, picnic, fly a kite, tell jokes, laugh, talk, read a story, tell a story, bumper car, swing set, bowling, pillow fight, cut loose, stay tight. Whew. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Automotive technicians and auto service trainees, how would you like to work at the beach and perform for one of the best car care centers in the nation? Louis Meineke is now looking for skilled automotive technicians to join their award-winning team. If you're a gearhead that knows his or her stuff, or a young up-and-comer that has the motivation and drive to succeed, then you need to make this call today. 302-827-2054. Louis Meineke Car Care Center, located in beautiful Lewis, Delaware, offers a highly competitive compensation plan, great benefits, a flexible schedule, and did we mention that you're going to be working at the beach? Plus, there's a signing bonus for the right candidates. Technicians must be ASE certified and have a minimum of 6 years experience. Beginners advance at your own pace in one of several entry-level positions. But whatever you do, don't wait. These jobs will go fast. Call Tim at 302-827-2054. That's 302-827-2054. Louis Meineke Car Care Center. Rev up your career.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right. It's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette. It's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this can be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit CooperCorvettes.com.
Victory Custom Trailers is the place to go for your next new or used trailer or coach. Being personally involved in the racing community allows Victory to fully understand what racers need in a trailer. They have over 200 coaches and trailers in stock for a variety of industries, and they can serve anyone in the continental U.S. If you're looking for something custom, they can assist in designing a trailer that fit your needs. Check out their entire inventory online at victorycustomtrailers.com.
He wanted to be known for doing his best. Sure, right. His best made him Major League Baseball's most valuable player. Strike two. He played in 6 World Series and was elected to the Hall of Fame. Although an honest man, he was best at stealing home. But the best quality of Jackie Robinson's life was his character. So here's to you, Mr. Robinson. Thanks for passing it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at Values.com.
I'm Chase Elliott, and you're listening to the Inside Pass.
Our show moves along just about as fast as the Hendrick cars do these days. Already 30 minutes into the show. It's kind of a sad deal. Welcome back to the show. If you missed John Hunter Nemechek, you can catch it on demand at any point in time this week. You can just go to your favorite podcasting website, search for Race Chaser Radio, and you will find it there. Or if you're in the greater Charlotte area, you can listen to the show on WSIC, Saturday mornings, 9 a.m., right here on WSIC, Family of Network. So we're on right before Lenny Paticki's appearance at the track.
Correct.
So there you go, part of our Motorsports Power Hour and a half on WSIC. So before the break, we were talking about, and actually when John Hunter was on the phone, I asked him about the cool trophy that Nashville gives away. They give a custom painted Les Paul guitar to all 3 winners of the divisions. A really cool trophy that has been handed down since I started running Nashville several years ago. Of course, we haven't ran Nashville in 10 years or so. But the tradition will come back this weekend, and of course, I think it's going to be more to these guys this weekend because we lost Sam Bass since the last time we were at Nashville, and he always was the one that designed the guitar, the winning guitar. So during the break we were talking about when Kyle Busch won. Back then he busted the guitar in Victory Lane, but it kind of brought to me what you guys think is the coolest trophy in motorsport. It could be NASCAR, it could be whatever form of racing. It doesn't matter to me, but. I'll tell you, mine is Miles the Monster, the trophy that Dover gives away because they put the winning car, like the replica of the car, in his fist or in his hand. And I thought that's a really cool trophy. But Peter, what do you think is the coolest trophy?
Part of me wants to say the clock in Martinsville, but I really like the sword at Bristol, too. That's not
cool, too.
Nearly as old as some other trophies, like the Martinsville clock or the Harley J. Earl trophy for Daytona, but the idea of winning a sword at the Coliseum just baffles me. It's awesome.
That's actually really cool. I never thought about that, too. Tom?
Actually, I'm gonna give 2 answers to this. Okay. The first is the Nashville guitar. I always thought that was really cool. A unique idea. And I'm a drummer, so it kind of follows in my music theme. But then the other one is, hardly anybody knows about this unless you're really into karting, but the golden slot machine at Batesville for the National Indoor Kart Championship, that is a really unique trophy. And in karting, there aren't that many premier races where you have that much prestige. And so that trophy is special, but also how can we not mention the Golden Driller?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that when you were talking about the slot machine, the Golden Driller, the Chili Bowl, or the Tulsa is the Chili Bowl.
Chili Bowl. Yeah.
It's really cool.
Chili Bowl is Tulsa.
Texas Motor Speedway they do a hat and 6 shooters.
That's right.
Which is really cool.
A gun's a cool trophy too.
The guns are really cool trophies, especially if you're somebody who does a lot of hunting. They're cool trophies to do. I guess if you don't do hunting.
I think for pole sitters at Texas, they still give away a repeating rifle too. Mm-hmm. That's a cool trophy.
Yep, you get a rifle when you win the pole.
Actually, there was a go-kart race that I worked over in St. Louis area, over in the St. Louis area in the spring, and there were a series of classes, and there was a reason for this. It has to do with the fact that they were paying tribute to a guy who was a plumber, but also a big kart supporter. They actually gave away the trophy was a toilet bowl. Yeah.
That's actually pretty
funny.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't the trophy at Coda the outline of the track?
Yes, it was.
That one was pretty cool because it was a gigantic trophy because Coda's 27 turns, but I mean it was like a 7-foot trophy, but it was a pretty cool trophy to see the track layout on the trophy.
It's funny because growing up, when I was first growing up, and I would see races like there was I think it was the Dogleg 200 is what they used to call it at Trenton. Oh, and then the Race of Champions too. They used to have the nice silver bowl. And I used to think that was really cool. But then, in more modern times, you talk about some of the ones that we're talking about now. It's like it's the trophy game at a lot of tracks and for a lot of events. They've really upped the game over the last 10, 20 years.
I think for me, in terms of trophies, it would have to be the Cup Championship trophy. One that thing's 5 feet tall and about 55 pounds, but. Speaking of tracks, it's got every track on the NASCAR schedule, wrapped around the entire the outside of the bowl. So it's pretty cool.
Well, and of course, the Harley J. Earl Trophy at Indy, and then the trophy at Daytona. I mean, there's just a lot of, like I said, it's great because that's if you can make a trophy unique enough, everybody wants one.
Right.
And so, a guitar is a prize. Like it's not just a big tall trophy. It's a guitar and it's unique.
Synonymous with Nashville. I mean,
right. Music City.
When they raced at Nashville 10 years ago, they had a guitar.
Right.
It went away when Nashville went away, and now it's back, and you're bringing the guitar back.
Yeah.
The tracks that can come up with unique trophies that, if you win there, this is special, is what earns points for me.
Yeah, that's true. Whenever you look at all the tracks that NASCAR runs at, some of the trophies are just pretty plain and, abnormal. And then you've got, places like Martinsville, with the Grand Prix clock. That's a prestigious trophy that everybody wants
also,
to win.
I just love the trophy at New Hampshire. It's just a live lobster.
I was wondering if anybody was going to mention that. I was avoiding that one.
That
wouldn't get me anywhere near that thing. No.
Yep.
I would almost finish second just so I didn't have to get near the lobster.
The trophy,
just like Denny Hamlin.
Yeah.
The trophy you can eat.
The trophy that can eat you.
Lobster's pretty
good. I was just going to say that's
sure that would bite you.
The problem.
Like I would be the one that would field goal punt my trophy across the ocean because it bit me in victory lane. I'm like, take this lobster and stick it where the sun don't shine. So, unfortunately, after the All-Star race yesterday was Eddie Gossage's last hurrah as TMS president.
Man, didn't he have the last laugh with that format?
He did. Although it really was. So let's talk about that for a second. So I don't feel like when we mentioned it last week, it kind of seemed like it was a math equation, but it really didn't seem that bad. Except for the deal or no deal esque way that we determined who was going to start where.
Also, how is that fair? I mean, you can see. I mean, Adam Alexander can see them moving the numbers around.
Exactly.
Can he just say, "Oh yeah, pick that one"?
Close your eyes, put your hands over your eyes, and let me figure it out. But it's kind of weird, Peter.
My take with this whole All-Star format is exactly like when the current playoff format or stages first came about. No one understood it at first, but once we saw it actually play out, it kind of made sense. So on paper, the All-Star format took like a whole page and a half of notes to decipher, but actually playing out in front of us, it wasn't that complicated.
Yeah, it actually seemed like, and I thought it was a really good race, considering the last several. I mean, of course, the All-Star race at Bristol was kind of cool under the lights, and with the little import halo bar color things underneath of them, but. This race being different from being kind of the same track layout as Charlotte, but obviously a little flatter. But I thought, Tom, it was a pretty decent race for an All-Star race, and with a lot of action and excitement throughout the race.
I will say that I was pleasantly surprised. I mean,
yes, for sure.
At least the last 10 laps, we at least had a pretense of a challenge, right? But the one it really to me did show the limitation of the package in the car that we have now, because that last 10 laps would have been really great if we hadn't had a situation where you just can't drive under and pass. Like, everybody runs out of juice at that point. It's just very hard to pass with these cars. But I thought it definitely was a better race than I expected. And I'm still, somebody on Facebook had a question and it ended with, I know Kyle Larson won, blah, 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 but how do you feel about the All-Star race as a whole? And I said, I feel like I failed calculus again. It was too complicated for its own good, in my opinion, but, and there were too many segments too. And somebody made the point that, okay, All-Star race, had this whole long thing, and then SRX, 100 laps, green, go.
Right.
And a fun flag.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, it's just a different animal. But that, again, I think that was Eddie trying to go out with a bang, and I do think it was one of the better All-Star races we've had in a number of years. So
best
I have to give
Texas
him credit
race in
for that.
years, too.
And in all honesty,
I can attest to that, too, yes.
I just wish it would come back to Charlotte.
Well, I mean, honestly, I thought it was. I don't know if that would have been the same race at Charlotte last night. I just.
Well, the perks of having it at Charlotte is that it's just a big event when you got 2 weeks, and for the drivers, traveling all the way out to Texas for 100 laps.
That was the whole thing for me.
Or 50 laps if you don't make the event. So at Charlotte, it seems like it's the best of both worlds. One, you can get more of a crowd out there because there's more.
It's not 97 degrees.
You do a lot with the shops around the area too. So
difference between 90 and 97 is kind of weak.
Yeah,
but
that's true. We talk about that all the time.
But yeah, it's definitely. It was definitely a good race. I have to say it was a better race than I thought it was going to be. The preliminary races are always great. And I was happy to see Matty D get the fan vote. It was fun. I mean, it just feels like it's so drawn out though. And on a Sunday especially, it's kind of like, it's just tough because it feels like it's about 5 hours. I love Sammy Hagar, but I just wanted to get to the race.
That felt so out of place.
Yeah.
They did it on like the third pace lap coming to the green, and it's like he barely finished it in time for them to, now we're green.
He finished it as the leaders were in the restart zone.
But, I'd say on a 10 scale, I'll give it a 7.5. I mean, I felt like it was a good race. I mean, it wasn't great, but I felt like it was good.
Yeah. So when we come back from break, we'll talk about SRX, because speaking of which, they ran Saturday night under lights at Stafford. Well, I guess kind of under lights, kind of not.
Yeah, but, it was.
We'll see what everybody's thoughts is on that. We'll do fantasy NASCAR as well. And we'll talk about IndyCar for a little bit too, because there's some interesting things going on over in IndyCar these days. And we talk about the dominance of Kyle Larson, but then you look at the IndyCar series and nobody's dominating over there because it's a different winner every week, which I like, and I think that's exciting and that's cool for the sport to see different winners visit victory lane. But anyway, we're going to take a break here in a second. But Eddie Gossage, we wish him the best, whatever he decides to do with his future. Hopefully, the next person that takes over TMS. Passes calculus with flying colors and doesn't. If they decide to do the All-Star race at Texas next year, no one's really knows exactly what they're going to do with the All-Star race. But I'd be okay with it returning to Texas. But I'm also kind of a fan of short track racing too. I think it'd be kind of cool to go back to Bristol or Martinsville. But anyway, we're going to take a break. We'll be back. More of the Inside Pass is coming up next. SRX Fantasy NASCAR. More right after this. Stay with us.
How to be a great dad in 15 seconds. Bike ride, go fish, walk in the park, phone call, milkshake, play catch, picnic, fly a kite, tell jokes, laugh, talk, read a story, tell a story, bumper car, swing set, bowling, pillow fight, cut loose, stay tight. Whew. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Automotive technicians and auto service trainees, how would you like to work at the beach and perform for one of the best car care centers in the nation? Louis Meineke is now looking for skilled automotive technicians to join their award-winning team. If you're a gearhead that knows his or her stuff or a young up-and-comer that has the motivation and drive to succeed, then you need to make this call today. 302-827-2054. Louis Meineke Car Care Center, located in beautiful Lewis, Delaware, offers a highly competitive compensation plan, great benefits, a flexible schedule, and did we mention that you're going to be working at the beach? Plus, there's a signing bonus for the right candidates. Technicians must be ASE certified and have a minimum of 6 years experience. Beginners advance at your own pace in one of several entry-level positions. But whatever you do, don't wait. These jobs will go fast. Call Tim at 302-827-2054. That's 302-827-2054. Lewis Meineke Car Care Center. Rev up your career.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right. It's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette. It's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this can be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit CooperCorvettes.com.
He wanted to be known for doing his best. Sure right. His best made him Major League Baseball's most valuable player. Strike two. He played in 6 World Series and was elected to the Hall of Fame. Although an honest man, he was best at stealing home. But the best quality of Jackie Robinson's life was his character. So here's to you, Mr. Robinson. Thanks for passing it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at Values.com.
When Marlon Shirley was 5 years old, he was in an accident and lost his foot, but he didn't lose his heart.
When you tackle a challenge that you just cannot even fathom tackling, when you accomplish that, the amount of integrity and the will and the heart that you'll get from that experience is what will set you up for your life.
In less time than it took Marlon Shirley to say that, he can now run 100 meters because today he's the world's fastest amputee. Overcome it. Pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at Values.com.
Hi, my name's Eric Jones, and you're listening to The Inside Pass.
Welcome back to The Inside Pass. You're part of the WSIC family of radio programming. Randy Miller, Tom Baker, Peter Strada, and Chris Murdoch. Of course, Noah's not here because summer break, and he has better things to do, like sitting around playing video games all day. But speaking of video games, that could be Noah's stunt double.
Chris has a squeaky toy in the studio.
It was here before I got here.
Yeah,
well, Noah's pretty much a human squeaking toy when he's here. So anyway, but. Speaking of making fun of people, our buddy Nick DeGroot is racing the Lionheart Series tonight, and he's coming off of another win. He won this past week. Apparently, he's my partner in crime now. I don't know where that came from, but Jacob Silman decided to name him my partner in crime. I got to give it
probably
him
me originally. Actually,
no, well, I don't know.
I use that phrase.
It was an episode of Madness. I listened to a couple of episodes back, like a few weeks ago, and you guys had Nick on Madness with you guys, and. Jacob said he was my partner in crime, and I was like, wait a second. And he's like, Randy can't defend himself. Well, I have my own show, and I will defend myself, and eventually we'll get back in the studio for Madness, and I will get him when we come back.
It's not hard.
It's very easy to pick on Jacob, and sometimes I feel bad, but not really. So anyway, let's get to fantasy real quick, and then we'll talk about SRX. So I could go on and on about this. So all 3 series in action this weekend in Nashville, Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup. Just some notes about the entry list. The Trucks have Ryan Priest driving for DGR Crosley, William Byron's in for Rockley WAR, and Ross is in the Nice truck. And Xfinity, it's Tyler Reddick in the 31 and Kyle Busch, of course, going for win number 100. Also, Austin Hill's making his debut in Hattori 61, and Will Rogers is in the 26th for Sam Hunt Racing this weekend, so that's kind of cool, too. As far as points go, everybody's kind of getting a little bit more narrow. Jacob swept the weekend because Larson won, so he gets 30 extra bonus points. He's the only one that got points for Cup because it was an all-star race and no points. So we'll let Peter go first, then Tom, myself, and then Chris. So
I always go last.
How does Chris?
Okay, then Chris go first. Whatever.
He's on the bottom.
I'm on the bottom.
Fine.
Start from the bottom and work up.
Fine. Chris, go first.
Randy just doesn't like me.
You're catching me.
So I'm just gonna go out and pick, just random picks. I'm gonna go John Hunter in the Trucks. Kyle Busch.
That's random.
Don't hurt yourself.
Kyle Busch in Xfinity and Kyle Larson in the Cup Series. And those are my random order. Random order.
First.
Yeah. I've got to make up some points here, guys. I'm in last.
Mr. 2-inch limb.
That's true. That's true. All right, Peter, you're next.
I'll agree with Chris on 2 of them. I'll go John Hunter for Trucks and then Kyle for his 100th Xfinity win. But I'll go out on a bit of a limb for a Cup and pick Alex Bowman to win the Ally 400 in the Ally car.
I feel like there would be a little conspiracy there, but
didn't he win the last Allied sponsor race at Dover?
That wasn't an Allied race, but still a Dover.
But he won.
Yeah, he still won either way. All right, Tom.
Well, John Hunter Nemechek in the Trucks. Boy, Xfinity for me is tough because I just keep waiting for both Noah Gragson and Daniel Hemrick to finally have that breakout moment.
Right.
I think I'm just going to go Hemrick at Nashville. And Cup Series, I'm just going to go Byron. I mean, it's
split the difference.
It's kind of,
we know it's a Hendrick driver. We're just got to figure out which one of the four it's going to be.
I just hate. I love the idea for safe points is picking Larson every week, but eventually somebody else has got to win some.
At the Daytona 500
No,
2022.
That's not true at all.
Exactly.
John, I'm gonna go John Hunter Nemechek in trucks mainly because he was on the show tonight. I'll pick Justin Allgaier for the Xfinity Series just to be different,
Yeah,
but I'm sticking
good
with
pick.
Larson and Cup.
It's a good
because,
pick.
I mean, come on, it's Kyle Larson. All right, so let's talk about SRX real quick. They made their series debut Saturday night at Stafford. I thought it was a pretty cool concept. I love the IROC thing back when it was cool. This is a little bit different. The cars are a little weird to me, but I think I can overlook that if the racing is cool. I mean, Michael Wapch is still wrecking people, so obviously they're doing something right.
He wasn't the only one.
He wasn't the only one, but Greg Biffle had a great showing and did pretty good. But Doug Colby, I mean, modified Ace has home track, taking the win. That's pretty cool. So.
Okay, so my first thought was that race should have been called the Go Bowling 400 because there was so much contact, but that's what you want, right? It's a short track. Look, I think that my biggest problem with the cars, I'm not a fan of the wing. I'm just not.
I think that's what bothers me.
It just
too.
feels out of place on a short track car, but I thought they looked better on the track than they did in the photos before, like the the announcement photos or whatever. But the other thought I have here is that this was a very entertaining show, I thought, from beginning to end. And that's what we're looking for. If there's any minuses, not crazy about Danica in the booth.
I was getting ready to ask, what do you think about Alan Bestwick and Danica
Oh, my
Patrick?
gosh.
Alan's
Alan
incredible. There was nobody better you could have picked for that. I mean,
Brad
Danica
Doherty,
wasn't
Matt
awful.
Yoakum on the pit
I
road.
love the pit guys. I just, and it's not that Danica's awful, Peter, in my book at all. It's just that I don't think she understands the short track part of it enough. I think they could get somebody that's more of a short track
It's
guy.
supposed to be expert analysis, and she doesn't put the expert.
I just don't think she's the right person for that.
Well, the role Danica played in the broadcast is a rotating role. I believe James Hinchcliffe will be in that role for a couple of races.
Isn't there another person, too, I think, that's supposed to be part of it, too?
It's another IndyCar guy, Hinchcliffe and... Gosh, I don't remember.
I'm blanking.
But the thing now, Hinchcliffe knows nothing about short tracks either. But you know what? Hinchcliffe is going to be hilarious.
Funny. Yes.
He'll be Clint Boyer-esque.
Yeah.
So. But I thought overall, it was an excellent first presentation. I thought CBS, they didn't overdo it. They didn't make it into a big NASCAR kind of thing. I thought it was a good overall. I think they did a great job.
And 1.3 million viewers.
Is that what they had?
Yeah, 1.33.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to the dirt races with those cars. I'm looking forward to Lucas Oil Raceway Park because that's my favorite track.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be amazing with those cars.
I'm contemplating going to Fairground Speedway for their season-ending race in a couple months just because I love the show that much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a really cool concept. I think, as we get further in, 2 or 3 years down the road with this concept, and changing out different drivers and doing different things with the series, I think it'll be a really beautiful thing.
But the interesting thing for me with this is that the concept of having the local home track ringer, and again, Kobe went out one, which was great because the car owner who gave him his first big break just passed, and it was great that he dedicated it to them. His car was at Oswego in the NASCAR Modified Tour race, finishing 8th with Chase Dowling, by the way. But seeing Doug win that was really cool. And I think that as we go forward, seeing who the ringers end up being at some of the other tracks is going to be a lot of fun. And I think again, solid start for that series overall.
Yeah, speaking of excitement, over in the IndyCar series, real quick, before we still have a little bit of time, Potter Ward and Marcus Ericsson.
Marcus Ericsson,
sorry. Both won. Isn't that like the 35th different winner in the last 5 races? Something like that.
7 winners in 8 races.
7 races, yeah. So and it's kind of the same thing we talked about with NASCAR last year. It was all about
They're
Kevin
just copying
Harvick.
NASCAR this year.
Right. It was Kevin Harvick and Denny Hamlin last year and, everybody else. And now this year it's the same way in the IndyCar series. It's like it was all Scott Dixon last year. This year it's everybody. So.
It's IndyCar's best season ever.
It really is.
Well, and I think it actually is one of the best seasons in years, because you never know going from race to race who's going to end up winning, and that's helping IndyCar a ton. Lots of young talent really coming up and being strong this year.
And that was a doubleheader at Detroit with two different winners, so you can imagine what it will go as the season goes on.
I felt bad for Will Power because he got a really bad break, but I thought great racing again. It's I'm not crazy about that facility, but man, just seeing all the different winners this year, fantastic.
Even Lewis Hamilton's had bad luck in the F1 series lately.
Yeah.
So we are out of here for this week. We will see you guys next week with more of the Inside Pass. For all the gang, enjoy Nashville for the first time in 10 years. And we will be back here next week to talk all about it. For the gang and everybody, have a great week. See you later, everybody. Bye-bye.